Thank you, Shrikani. I'm started recording. Yeah. Firstly, wanted to introduce Kavin that presently what you are doing.
Well, presently I'm working at a company called Darren as an intern. I'm learning on the different aspects of business really, but mostly technical and commercial. I'm learning about computer hardware. At the same time, I'm also getting experience with accounting, GST filing, and all that.
Okay.
It's been really fun, really. I've been doing this for the past 1 year, I think, right now. It's been really interesting.
So you mean to your internship involves multiple things. One is into the computers, technical background, as well as admin.
It's mostly a techno-commercial role.
Technical.
So I also interact with customers, and on the side, I'm also in getting into stock market investing and money management and all that. I love reading a lot of books, and I'm a fitness freak.
Okay.
I work out. I go to play. I work out every 4 hours every day, and I love eating. So it cancels each other.
So you balance out with fitness freak outing.
Yes. Also, I like traveling, and lockdown hasn't been so kind to me. Getting used to it.
Yeah. Over to Radhika.
So hi everyone, I'm Radhika. I'm a self-directed learner. I'm 16 years old. Currently, I'm actually pursuing my academics with NIOS. I'm pursuing my 10th with National Institute of Open Schooling, and I'm very passionate about art. And so I used to travel a lot related to art and explore my passion for art. But since, Kavin said, lockdown has not been kind, so we have been usually home. So I just finished my diploma in fine arts, and I'm also been creating content for teenagers on YouTube with my brother, where I interview teenagers who have been doing certain amazing work in their fields at such young age. So that the concept is based upon the channel is upon for the teens by the teens, where teenagers inspire teenagers with their work and experiences. So yes, this is what I've been doing. I've been creating content for teenagers on YouTube, and I've been focusing on art and pursuing my academics.
Yes. Srijani, would you want to start any? I can see Srijani as teen and Shreya and Aparna. As teens, you want to start with first prompt. What do you want to ask them?
Your channel name in YouTube? We would like to just visit your.
It's called Un and Raw.
Un? Sorry?
I can post it in Discord.
Okay.
She has.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I can share the link in the chat box.
Yes, okay. You can share it in the chat box.
Okay, yeah. I will.
Yes. So, Kavin and Radhika, I just wanted to ask the next prompt. In the meantime, if anybody wants to ask, if you have the prompts ready, you can keep it ready and we can ask. So just wanted to understand, presently, like you were sharing, you are interested in electronics, you are into fitness freak, you are also in overall taking care of the business, Kavin. So how did you get into this passion, or how did you find this is my passion and I want to go deep into this? And the same with Radhika, it could be on art, it could be on working on teens, working with teens, taking field trips, or going starting your channel about the teenage talks. So how did you get interested into this? Would you like to share with the chat? Yeah. Whoever wants to start, you can just start.
Okay, I'll go first. So let's not misunderstand. My passion is basketball. I've always been passionate about it. I wanted to become a player and all that, but since I'm getting older and all that, and my parents are kind of worried about how I'm going to make money as, India, politics and lots of competition and all that. So they want me to get some kind of streamline income and all that. And I did finish my 10th 1 or 2 years ago. And I told them I'm not doing my 12th. I didn't want to. I'm just not interested in it. So then they're asking me to look at other stuff. So right now I'm just exploring this area and just exploring this field, and I like it. I just seem to like it, so I've stayed. So that's basically it. But I wouldn't call this my passion. My passion for life is just I just want to look at the different boundaries and different aspects of life, explore life, live life to its fullest.
Hmm.
I should go ahead.
Yes, Radhika.
Okay, so my passion, I have multiple passions. They start from theater, from art, from oratory. But I do feel that ever since like I was a child, I've always been on this journey of exploring. So I have this habit of not sticking on to something right now. But there are certain things that I write, I like and I build upon them. So currently it's art, and currently it's oratory, where I like to talk with different people from different backgrounds with different stories. And pretty much the concept of me talking to teenagers and making conversations with them and sharing them on YouTube was that I wanted to meet people, children my age, who were doing so many different things and had so many experiences to share while they were my age. So while I was meeting people through traveling, I realized that a lot of stories us teenagers can also tell. So that's when I decided, and me and my brother, it was our vision together. So we started approaching teenagers from different fields, be it a musician who is a teen musician, someone who is a mountaineer. Last year, he climbed Mount Everest. Or, he has some experiences to share, and he has a perspective of a teenager, which he can share with, other fellow teenagers. So, it's kind of different perspective, we all share. So I just wanted to share that. And we have had a couple of guests, be it a musician, mountaineer, and content creator, or multiple other people. So this was the basic concept, so that we can all share, specifically teenagers, we can share our experiences with each other. So yeah.
That's awesome to see, like having multiple passions, and how you got interested in understanding different teens experiences, and also Kavin having passion as basketball, and how you are able to learn different things in terms of the business involved. It could be technical, it could be commercial, and all this. That would be nice. Before I start asking the next prompt, I thought anyone wants to ask any question to Kavin or Radhika? Just you have been hearing their journey.
One question to Radhika, if I may go now.
Yes.
Radhika, I was just checking out the YouTube page that you sent, and first of all, congrats. It looks pretty impressive. And I think these are the titles of the videos. The things that you're covering are so much relevant to the teenagers, right? So that's a great job done. I would be definitely subscribing, hitting the bell icon, whatever it's required.
Oh my, that is so sweet.
Yeah. Okay. And so my question to you, I guess, is so I see a wide variety of people that you interview, starting from musicians to the UN youth ambassador to somebody who got into MIT. So my first question is that how do you get these contacts, right? And how do you know of these people? And what's your experience of reaching out to them, getting them to agree for a conversation? Yeah.
Right. So this is a question I have been asked a lot of times. So it's a very, I wouldn't say we have a correct format, but it just feels that if I'm, scrolling through Instagram and I come across this girl who was a UN youth ambassador, and I'm like she seems interesting. So I go to her page and I see her email ID. And that's when I go ahead. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to email her. And I email her, and she sends me, like, she'll be interested. I tell her the project I'm on, or what my vision is, what I want to take an interview with you. I want you to share your experience. And a lot of times we get lucky and people are very open to share their experiences. And sometimes there are friends of friends of friends. We somehow find mutual contacts and get through them through LinkedIn, WhatsApp. There is some or the other way we go and find their email ID. And a lot of times we don't get a reply. And then we need to follow up on the daily basis. Will you be able to make out time this time, or will you be free this time? So it's a little difficult. I wouldn't say difficult. It's a fun process, but I think you need time for it. It's a little time consuming, but it's fun. I mean, you just get through some or the other way, you get through their profiles or email IDs, and you go ahead and type out your idea. And most of the times they're open.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. And I would say the right Jugadu way of doing things.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and another follow-up question on that. So you explain how you reach out to these contacts, but then how do you know what the teenagers are interested in? Like how do you decide what topics or which people you need to interview, which makes sense for other teenagers? You're a teenager yourself, but about the masses, right? What topics are trending? How do you know about that?
Right. So as a teenager, I get a perspective of the audience. So basically, I'm an audience myself.
Mhm.
So I know what I want, and I also want what the audience wants, because I'm also one of them. So there's a plus point there. Yes, I do know what is trending. I mean, I do get excited. A lot of teenagers these days are into social projects, so they're into UN. A lot of boys or teenage boys are into musicians, so they've started this new reel thing where they create reels on Instagram, and they have a lot of followers also. So I think these are certain topics: music, social service, content creation. Mountaineering, I would say, is not something which is very common. But yes, I think any person which we feel is interesting, I think this would, and it's not only about the field, it's also about their perspective towards life also to share. Like a musician would have a different perspective, a mountaineer would have a different perspective. He would share how meaningful or how fickle life can get. A musician can say how enjoyable life can get. So there are just different perspectives you get to share from different people, you get to know from different people. So I feel there are certain topics we automatically get to know from people, like music is some of them.
Yeah,
some trending topics we automatically get to know.
Yep. Yeah, I think interesting point about the perspective. I think it's not just the content that you're sharing, but also their perspective and how they look at life,
Exactly.
which is really the essence. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Radhika.
Yeah.
Kevin, I just wanted to know your journey after your 10th and now you're in internship. Like, I wanted to know the journey between the internship and your 10th, and also how did you have the thought of going to doing an internship, or how did you go into the internship, the process? I just wanted to know.
Well, it's not that complex really. So I finished, the way I passed my 10th is the funniest thing. So I left school in second grade, and for 8 years I had zero exams, no exams, nothing, barely studying at all, just learning from different stuff, different aspects of life, exploring. And then I came home and I'm like, I want to do my 10th. I want to get a certificate. I want to write an exam after 8 years. I want to get the feel for it. And then Corona comes, and I didn't get to write the exam. So, but that 1 year when I studied, I just didn't feel like it was relevant right now. Especially in NIOS, I took this subject called business studies. It was the one subject that I actually was interested in the whole portfolio of 5 subjects. And after the exams ended or the marks came out, it was the one subject that I hated. Like it was so outdated. And then I was like, no, I'm not studying. I don't want to do this. I've used Khan Academy before and all that. And those are really interesting ways to study. So I told my parents I'm not studying. Even now, I still argue with my mom about 12 because she thinks you need to do your 12th, get a proper certificate, at least you get a job, get into college and all that. But I just don't feel like doing it. And I think that's the point of homeschooling, to do what you want to. And then, so I'll be honest here, this company is my dad, so I had it kind of easy to enter. But it hasn't been such an easy journey after coming here. especially since I'm a 21-year-old I'm a 16-year-old in a 21-year-old world. So all the people around me are a minimum of 21 years old, and I need to work up to their level. So it hasn't been an easy journey, but it has been a fun and interesting journey. So I think that's what pushes me, if I had answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I would like to. Is anyone asking any question?
Can I just ask one common question to Kavin and Radhika both?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is no can. You can just ask Preeti.
Yeah. So, Kavin and Radhika, you both are pretty clear and look very focused and everything. And what I understand from your profiles as of now, what you are interested in and what you're doing, they both of them, both of you do not definitely kind of not require a 10th or 12th degree. Like I think, Kavin, you are in business, and Radhika, the kind of profile you are in arts kind of, right? So I hope I'm not wrong because there's too much of noise here. Yeah, am I there? Yeah.
You're
So
audible.
and you both are doing your 10th certificate. Yeah. So and Kavin has done and Radhika is pursuing it. So what is your thought behind it? What is your whole understanding and your idea behind it? What is the purpose behind it to both of you?
Radhika, you want to go first?
All right, I'll go first. So it's a little opposite here. Like Kavin said, he has daily fights with his mom regarding the 12th. It's opposite. Like my dad questions me, why are you doing your 10th? I would say there is some kind of a door open for me to pursue college. Like recently, today itself, I heard a reply from an institution called United World College. And I applied to their institution for my 12th so that I could, it's actually institutions where they practice diversity, where different people from different countries, specifically children, meet together and study together. And for that, they were not requiring any certificate. All I said was that all I did was share my portfolio about the work I have done, about the experiences I have gone through. I wrote my essays, and I did not share my marks or anything at all. And I just wrote that I'm a homeschooler, and they accepted me in some or the other way. So definitely it is not important. But I feel in a country like India, the things are changing rapidly, specifically in today's times where you have new education policy. There is not a lot of people who care about your 10th or 12th, so it's not at all necessary. But there is some kind of satisfaction that as a student you have, that you have something to fall back on. I'm sure that this is just going to be a piece of paper in my library somewhere down. It is not going to be helpful, but some or the other way, I do feel secure in some or the other way, that if I have something to fall back on. That's all.
Well, for me, first, I think you had said something about me being very clear on my journey and me not needing my 10th and all that. Let me clear that up. Really, honestly, I think everyone's life is a question mark. You have no idea what you're gonna do tomorrow. You have no idea what life's gonna throw at you tomorrow. And no one is ever fully clear on what they're gonna do, and sometimes what they have done. So first things first, it's not like I've not needed my 10th. I'm just a normal person. I'm just a normal human being, normal kid that wanted to do his 10th, hated it, and doesn't want to do his 12th. So in that point of view, when I signed up for my 10th, yes, I wanted to do it. At that time, yes, I wanted to do it. But now I've just had a clarity after doing my 10th that maybe it's just not for me. It might work for other people, but maybe it's just not for me. And that's why I don't want to do my 12th.
Just to continue the conversation, I just don't know, what is that making you feel strongly that it is not for me? Must be something inside you that you think that it's not for me. What is that one thing?
Yes, okay. So the way at first, I'll go to the start. So when I was in second grade, I used to love school. I used to love studying, and the way we started homeschooling was my mom used to teach in my school for 1 year, and then I think she felt it wasn't that great. The syllabus wasn't that great. And one day after I finished my second grade on summer holidays, summer vacation, she tells me I'm not going to school anymore. I was scared. I was anxious, really. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I'm gonna do. I didn't know what I'm gonna do. Now that I think back at it, it's one of the best moments because once I came out of that environment, I think it opened up lots of different possibilities. Once I came out of school, I did my course on permaculture when I was, I think, 12 years old. And I started my own business on bicycle repair. And I didn't enjoy it as much as I did when I started, so I closed it down. And then I've been able to explore coding, I've been able to explore the stock market, video editing, character animation, lots of different stuff. So when I'm at this point of view, when I'm having this point of view with life, and I'm exposed to this much stuff, and then you ask me to take a book and study what you're giving me and study for some exact question and put it all down on paper within an hour or two in one single day, that's just not me. So it just doesn't feel like it. I just don't think it's required at all for me. Because over here, I think I have gained the skills to take on life right now. Even though I'm still learning, I can still survive. I know how to survive. So I don't think I need my 12th anymore, especially after I've tried writing my 12th, 10th at least.
Yeah, you can't get a more solid answer than that, Leela.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Kavin, you said you are a 16-year-old in a 21-year job. Just listening to you.
21-year world, you get me wrong.
Yeah, 21 years.
Every customer that comes in, he thinks I'm a 21-year-old and expects me to act like one. So
yeah, but listening to you, it seems like you're a 35-year-old in a 16-year-old body, the kind of wisdom and confidence you exude, that's really inspiring.
Anyone can get that confidence if they expose themselves to the different situations.
But that's what I was saying, and that's what. So if you're exploring the life on your own, without somebody else showing you a path, that these are the standards that you have to go through, these are the exams that you go through, I think you tend to develop all this surviving skills and confidence along the way, right? So I think that's a good testimonial. So really impressive, Kavin.
Yeah, I think anybody can do that.
Yeah.
It's just getting exposed to different environments. And I think that's one of the best things my parents did for me. And they weren't there to always take care of me when I was down. It was me that got up. And I think that's one of the best attributes of my parents. And that's what has made me strong. Anytime I was hurt, or anytime I was down, or anytime I had a failure, they would support me, but I had to get myself back up. And I think that's what has made the man I am.
Mm-hmm. Couple of questions, Kavin. So the first question is that when you're doing home learning, right?
Yes.
You are in a way in charge of your own learning, right? So you have to kind of maybe make your own routine because you don't have to go to schools in the morning, right? So there's no reason to get up and take a bath every morning, something which I also hated. So you are really in charge of the learning. So you have to decide what areas to explore, how long to be in those areas, when to give up, So in that journey of those 8 years between class 2nd and class 10th, were there moments where you felt directionless? Were there moments where you could not maintain discipline and the days just passed off in laziness? Were there moments like that?
Totally, 100%. And I do it even now. There are times when I'm just a lazy ass. I don't want to get up at all. But sometimes you just have these spurs of motivation, inspiration, and maybe if you watch videos like what Radhika makes, I do watch videos like that, and you get inspirations, different people, different speeches. Sometimes I get inspired by my dad. Sometimes I get inspired by my granddad stories. Sometimes it's just my sister, younger sister. Sometimes it's just a dog. It spurs different thoughts in my mind. So when there are times when I am down, and they, especially in the starting stages, especially not the starting stages, when in the starting stages, the parents are usually like, let's start studying, give you the books, and then you can have the schedule and all that, and then you slightly gradually start opening boundaries and all that. So in the middle, I think I wasn't as oh my god, my mind's blank. I wasn't as studying as much, or I wasn't doing much with life. I was wasting time really in the middle. But again, you get this spur of motivation. You want to do something in life, you want to achieve something. And then I start working on it again. So currently, right now, there have been times where I used to wake up at 4 a.m., work out for 4 hours in the morning, come back home, eat, study, and then in the evening I'd again work out for 4 hours, eat, sleep, study, work out, play. It used to be a very focused time, and then you have times in the middle when you're not motivated, you get lazy again. But I think it's like a puzzle. You just have to figure your way out.
Mhm.
Radhika, would you like to share about your such experiences?
Yeah, Leela, just a sec. So I've also got something like I also love doing craft, but sometimes I also go like, no, I don't want to do it because I don't want to make the hall messy, and then I don't want to clean it up, and then that makes me I don't want to do, and then sometimes I really want to do, and then I do. So I can connect to you when you couldn't do it.
You're done, Avani? Avani, are you done?
I think she's
I
done.
think she's done.
Yeah. Yes, Radhika, you can share from your experiences, the days.
From my experiences about setting up a routine as a homeschooler, right?
Yes.
So it's a very, I say, I'm a self-directed learner where I direct my learning the way I want it to be, where I want it to go. So I left. So it was the decision of my parents initially to, take me out of school, and the decision was based upon their past experiences of, their schooling days, their nightmares of, sleeping early, getting up early, having that heavy bag. So they did not want my brother and me to go through that. So they decided to get me out of school and my brother. So the first place I went to was Arohi for that. And there, as a 10-year-old, I just got experienced with such beautiful, such open environment where I could actually learn what I want to. And I could also learn in variety of ways, be it traveling, be it talking to people, be it reading books. So it was a completely different way. So that actually opened my mind a lot. So that 1.5 year was very liberating for me as a student. So when I got back home, I it was a decision of my family that you have experienced this kind of learning, now also go to school and experience that path as well, and thereafter choose which path you choose to walk on. So thereafter, I went to school for 1 year. And after 1 year, I was like, no, I want to be a homeschooler. I want to be a self-directed learner. I want to learn the way I want to. And I don't want some teacher telling me, there is a 30-minute slot, you will be studying chemistry. Then after that, you will be studying physics. So I did not want the way to learn that way. So So I started homeschooling, and after that, I just started exploring and from different fields, be it mountaineering, I love trekking, be it playing a piano or a ukulele, which I've recently developed interest in, be it reading. In school, I used to hate reading, but now I love reading. Like if you leave me with a book for 8 hours, I can sit peacefully and happily. So this is what, my learning has given me the opportunity to love my interests and not take it as a burden, especially my studies. So yeah, this is what it is. So it's the way I wanted to. At a lot of days, like Kavin said, there are a lot of days where I feel, let's just not get up early. I'm not a early riser, but there are some days, like let me just be. So I think that's good. That's something I enjoy, that my learning gives me the opportunity to just be, to be at my pace, learn at my pace. There is no need of me keeping a time slot to a certain thing. I can continue whatever I am working on for months, days, hours, seconds, so there's no sort of restriction to each goal or a learning, anything like that. So yeah, I think I just learn. I spend, like, I do focus that I do try to work on the skill I'm working on and take it on a great level. So I kind of try to work on it for 3 to 4 hours, and then I do what I want to, like read, I email people. It's part of the Anindra thing. And yeah, so there are certain things I keep on working on, and some of the other way I find out a way to, finish the thing, the work.
Knowing both of you, met few times, and I know a little bit about their journey. Kavin, would you like to share your cycling journey, like how you started with so much of enthusiasm, and then how did you take up the closing it down? I know I saw you in that journey. And could be Radhika can also share how she overcome those struggles of things that did not work for you. You can also share some learnings from your journey. How do you
want to go first?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go first. Well, for me, I was a really young boy at that time when I started. So it was basically an idea of one of my friends. So he was like, we'll have a cycle workshop for one day in our community. So it started off like that. So he told me that we'll just be pumping cycles and washing cycles. My first reaction to that was, are you an idiot? That was my first reaction to it. And honestly, I didn't know I would be so interested in it. It was actually very interesting at that time. So he told me that we'll be washing cycles, pumping air, and all that. And I think I kind of took it up really seriously. And then I started studying about repairing cycles. I wanted to repair cycles. And I had a basic interest on mechanics, really, especially nuts and bolts. So I wanted to repair cycles. And also, there were cycles at my place. Even my own cycles were not repaired, they were not rideable. So I wanted to repair them too. And my friend's cycles were also not rideable at that time. So then went to YouTube, best university of all time. Anything, any question, either Google or YouTube. Since YouTube is owned by Google, so ask Google anything, you'll get it. So then my first reaction was go to YouTube, how to take care of a puncture, how to repair a puncture. And that's where I started. And over time, every day starting, and then there was this group of friends, and then we came up with the pricing and all that. But then, because of the boundaries and the limitations of their schooling system, they couldn't join me on the journey. But I didn't have those boundaries. So, and my parents were actually very supportive of it. And I started small, and then I started to get my own website. I was researching on different tools that I need, different aspects for growth, different opportunities that I can have for different growth. different courses, and I started this service called On-Site Bicycle Service, and where basically I would take all my tools and come to your place, come to the customer place, and I would repair the bicycle at their place. Because let's be honest, if you have the reason you get a bicycle is to travel from place A to place B, destination A to destination B. So how are you going to get the bicycle to the repair shop, which is destination A and destination B? So then I get my tools to your place, and then I repair the cycle, and it was a very interesting time. And again, it gave me a lot of confidence at that time. It gave me perspective on life, on how you need to price, how you need to put the margin, how much margin you need, and different ways to connect to different people. How do you make meaningful connections with your vendors? How do you how do you give your customer satisfaction? Different stuff. And really, after I closed the shop, it has helped me in life a lot. All these learnings have helped me. So, and that's one of the best things about homeschooling. It's not like you learn maths, you use it only for maths. It's like you learn something from someone, somewhere, somehow. It you use it for the rest of your life. That's my very basic experience with homeschooling. But then after some time, I think I did it for a year or two, and then I gradually started losing interest. It happens, but I don't want to be in a place where I started this, so I'm going to do this. No, I lost interest, and that's the point of homeschooling. You do what you want. So I slowly stopped repairing cycles. I slowly started coming out of it. But I'd also learned how to edit photos. I'd also learned how to make websites. I learned coding. I learned search engine optimization, different stuff that I learned for the business that I still use right now. And then I guess gradually I lost interest, and life goes on. So I closed it down, and then I've joined this internship, and it's going on. It's going pretty good. Radhika?
What should I talk about?
I guess you should talk about your experience with your YouTube channel, I guess.
Right. Should I talk about my experiences with YouTube channel?
Anything in your journey where you have experienced failure, and how did you, or failure, it could be a struggle which you faced, and how did you overcome that, and what is the learning from that you took to in your life?
Right. So I don't know which struggle should I highlight. I would just say every experience in life, be it a failure or success, in some or the other way, you get to learn from it. But to be specifying it, I would say maybe I can start with a concept of where I started organizing these educational field trips with the children, with my father and my brother for children. So we took some children out from a village to places in Lucknow, so that they also get to experience, there are so many different things that your city yourself holds. You can learn from them. So through that experience, I actually learned to communicate with children, and also how to be an effective communicator, because there is a lot of village politics that goes into, when you are in a village. So I went to a village and I talked to their parents, that, will it be possible if your child can come along with us? And they would have their own set of questions. Why are you taking a child? What is your faida in it? So there are certain kinds of questions. I learned to actually be a better communicator and be an effective communicator. So I think I did struggle to communicate with, village people. They have their own set of mindset. So that got me experience to communicating and talking to different people from different backgrounds, be it people in the villages, be it children, be it going to that educational place, that that place, or for that field trip, and talking to them. It was a different experience for me to learn to communicate with different people from different backgrounds. So I did struggle in that initially, but I think over time, I think I've learned to be a little effective communicator.
So, Radhika and Kavin, I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
So in any time in your journey, did you feel any kind of pressure from peers? Like Kavin mentioned, some of his friends were having a structured time of school and
Right,
they were
right.
and I think Radhika also mentioned she tried once 1 year of schooling and then came back.
Yeah,
And
right.
most of your neighbors, most of your friends may not be homeschoolers, right?
Yeah, yeah. All of them are homes. All of them are schoolers. So I think in
Yeah.
Lucknow, I only know myself, and my brother was initially homeschooled. So yes, it's a different question. You, what do you do at home the entire day? Do you even study? What are you going to do with your life? And these questions are a little intimidating at times. It gets to you. But I think I knew what I was doing. I knew where I was going with my path. So that was a little easier. But yes, even my family, I wouldn't say friends, even my family members, would say, even for that matter, my daddy would say, get yourself into a school, get yourself into a structured way of learning so that you can, secure yourself with a degree or a job. So yes, that's definitely intimidating. My friends would question. I would also feel a little, and also there is one thing called socializing. As a homeschooler, every child is at school, they are having their own set of friends every day, they're meeting children of their age, where I'm at home, in my doing my own thing. I do get to meet my friends in the evening, but still, that socializing part is a little, at the back seat, which is a little not good really. As a child, it's always fun to be around friends. So yes, there were friends a lot. They would say, get yourself into school, what are you doing? What is the fun in not going to school? Yes, but I think I have some or the other way found answers, and with my work I think I've started to answer their questions. Like I said, recently I was awarded with a title called Local Teen Hero. So I told them the work I had been doing, I shared it. And I think they pretty much get their answer by the work I've been doing, a little bit work or the skills I've been focusing on. And silently, they also feel jealous that you're lucky, that you get more time. So yeah.
Well, for me, I've had a similar experience, but sometimes it has gone to the point where you get bullied, you get insulted also for not learning some of the things they learn at school. And at first, in the starting stages, it does hurt a little. It does hurt a little, but I think as you go on, as you move on, we learn to love yourself, and I think we learn that I'm enough and I'm doing what I want to, and I learned to accept myself for who I am, and I think that is one of the greatest attributes one can have in life, because if you're not gonna love who you are, then you're gonna feel bad in each and every situation in life, because you're gonna have to face those kinds of insults, bullying at some point of your life. So I think there have been tough times, but it just has turned out great for me in the end.
Hopefully, Sakila, it has answered your question, or you have something more to ask, Sakila?
So I will just ask you, I'm just curious to know. So I think Radhika had explained it, but then how did you handle the pressure from, or both of you had answered it, from the society when you're a homeschooler? And I'm not sure. Myself as a parent, I'm just learning to, uh, help my kid or unparent. I mean, to learn unparenting. But how did that happen in your case? How did your parents handle you when you were homeschooled?
Well, for me, it was basically my parents let me free and made me find my own way, because I think that's one of the reasons they made me homeschool. So any problem that I had, if I needed any support, I could go to them at any time. But if I need answers, I'm gonna have to find it. If I need help, I can go there. But if I need answers, I'm gonna have to find it by myself. And I think it has been really helpful for me. So at the starting stages, you kind of get frustrated, you get scared, you don't want to socialize. But then as you go on, you learn that this is who I am, this is what I've chosen to do, and I'm happy for it. So if anyone asks questions, I have answers. I learn the answers. And one of the best things was my parents always tell me, it hasn't been only me learning. It has been my whole family learning with me. It has been my grandfather, my grandmother, my mom, my dad, because it's a new concept to the whole family. We are the first family to ever homeschool in a lot of generations. So it's a very new concept. So everyone is learning over here. So no one really has the answers. And I think it's a very interesting phase to be in. But yes, so my parents were supportive, but they didn't have the answers either. They were clueless too. So we just had to find answers together. And it was really a great time. It was confusing, it was hard, but it was a really great and fun time. Radhika, you want to answer?
I definitely agree with you that it's the entire family learning and finding questions to those answers. We do know what we are doing, but there are certain kind of questions where you can answer them with your experiences or your your learnings. You can definitely, like a lot of, like you said, like how would it be to be a homeschooler? How would you answer the questions people ask you? I think it's something you discover, in your journey. So there is no specific answer or a specific path any homeschooler can choose. It's, I think, a very separate journey. Like homeschooling doesn't has a curriculum, so you can't have a definite answer to it. Every child, every individual in the phase of homeschooling finds their different way and different path of learning. So I think from that only we can find our answers.
I have a question about socializing. Radhika, you brought up that point of socializing. So it's a notion that kids who go to school, they have a circle of friends to hang out with. They have common topics to talk about. Like, do homeschoolers have a disadvantage on that front of socializing? Is that notion really true, or you guys still hang around with people living in your community, in your residential apartments, and you get equal opportunities?
Right. Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead, Radhika.
Okay. So, in my talking about opportunities, what kind of opportunities?
Of just making friends, having
Right.
peers, making friends.
I think so far I am not having any problem or opportunities, or maybe in making friends. Rather, when I meet a person and I tell them about homeschooling, they're like, "Oh wow, like tell me more about it," and that's can be the starting point of the conversation to have. So yes, I have a colony where I hang around with friends every evening. So there is no problem with that. I have great friends. But yes, there are certain topics like, you have your exam at this time. So you have your exam, or what did your teacher say today? So these kind of topics, I am a little out of the conversation. But yes, I think we are friends. We find out some of the other way to be together. So yeah.
For me, it has been almost the same. But also, I've learned to not only make friends of my age. So ever since I started homeschooling, there used to be times when we used to travel, and especially when I'd done my permaculture course. Basically, my mom was doing it, and then I just tagged along. My mom took me and my sister homeschool, no, so you can go anywhere at any time. So then we go there, and then I'm just studying, and over there, there's no kid. So there were two. There was another homeschooling family with two kids, and they left in the next 2 days. And it's a 1 month course, and I have to socialize with lots of adults. Everyone is a minimum of 25 to 26 years old, and I have to be able to socialize with them. And I tried, and I think that was one of the hardest times for me to socialize, but in the end, it was also the best learning experience for me. I'd learned to socialize with people without the factor of age coming in between us. I'd learned to understand the way people speak, understand how different people think, different villages, there'll be villages, Indians, foreigners, different people. I'd had the opportunity to meet different people, not only people of my age. It had been different children, adults, old, really old people, senior citizens. And I think by gaining that kind of experience, now I don't really need people of my age. You put me in any place, I can talk to anyone right now because I've gained that kind of confidence and that kind of experience. So I don't really need people of my age, but I still do have access to people of my age, our community. They come to play every evening and all that. I do spend time with them too, but it's not exclusively them. I spend time with adults, senior citizens, different people at different points of my life. And I think it's a very diverse experience.
Yeah, I think it seems like the homeschoolers have an upper edge, when it comes to socializing after all, because you get to, as you said, make friends and socialize with people outside your age group. So that's really, and I think the other schoolers might not get that.
That
Yeah.
like I had a theater class where there were like there were 12 college students, be it girls, boys. Then I had a stitching class where I was learning stitching with 3 aunties. One was married, one was pursuing her graduation, and one was 38, so something like that. And I became really good friends with them. And taking the example of my brother, he was in a baking class with 12 aunties and him being a 12-year-old boy. And every auntie would message him, okay, Aunt, what did you learn today? I actually missed the class. So actually, we learn to socialize with so many different people. Like Kavin said, that's something definitely adds on to the point.
Yeah, and there's a community angle too, so I believe every city, or every locality might have homeschooler kids. Like, do you guys have similar community around in areas that you live, and do you guys bond with them too?
Not in Lucknow.
What about you, Kavin?
Well, in Bangalore, we do have actually a lot of communities. In the starting stages, we used to go every Saturday, very vigorous about it. You go there on time, have fun, meet different people and all that. But then over time, I think we just grew apart, and now we don't meet anymore. I don't really need to meet that much because at that time we were coming from this point of insecurity that maybe these kids aren't socializing as much. They need other people like them and all that. Now I think we've all gotten the experience and confidence that they'll grow up.
Yeah.
Such loving stories to hear from you both.
And I think slowly I haven't been part of these groups really recently, but we used to have those groups. So it didn't work out for me personally. It didn't work out, but if you want to look out for those groups, yes, there are lots of groups in Bangalore and in India also.
Yeah, so it seems like most of your learning journey has been individualistic, where you have been exploring stuff, learning things off the YouTube University, and by working on different projects, joining different groups like cooking classes. So at Arohi, I've seen that there's more of a community aspect of learning, where learners get together around a similar theme and explore. Do you feel that one way is better than the other?
No.
Or is this too personal?
I think it's different for each and every individual. Different people have different likes, different people have different mindsets, they come from different backgrounds. And I liked ROE too. I liked the time I had spent with ROE, but I just couldn't do it for a whole year. It wasn't me. And I know people it has worked out for. Lots of people stay there, lots of people study in ROE for a whole year, and it works for them. So there is no right or wrong. It's just, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? Do you feel like doing it? Are you comfortable or are you not comfortable? And I think it changes from person to person.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious, and probably I can do this after because I don't want to hijack all the time. But I would like to learn from you on what things you found missing in like what things turned you off in a community learning setup. Because those would be some really insightful input for for people here.
In Arohi, I'm not exactly sure because the last time I visited Arohi was how many years ago, Leela?
Could be more than 7 years or mostly around 6 years, I guess, 6 to 7 years. I remember these two people. So Radhika, if we all have anyone who has visited campus, and if you remember bus library, that was the time when Radhika was there. And if you have seen the mud house, that was the time that Kavin used to come, and he was part of the Kavin sister and his mom all had been part of the mud house construction.
So I didn't find anything really missing in Arohi. Maybe it was just the environment that maybe I wasn't. Maybe that farmhouse wasn't for me. And so where I live, we do have lots of open land, but it's a community and lots of people close together. We have around 100 or 200 people, 200 families. So you know different people, and also it was I had access to the internet in Arohi at that time when I was. It wasn't as accessible, and also it was there, but somewhere in me, I'm not exactly sure how to put it in words, but somewhere in me, it's like a gut feeling. It just wasn't for me as such.
Got it. Thanks for attempting.
Just actually,
sometimes feelings can't be put in words.
I can understand.
Just the last question, Avani's question has been pending from a long time in the chat window. She has been asking, how did you make up your mind to do whatever you want to do in your life? And I'm asking because I'm feeling that I don't want to do because it is too long preparation and something like that. So just how did you?
Avani, how old are you right now?
10.
So people at your age really they don't really even focus to the point. They don't even have a purpose in life. They go to school, they study, enjoy. And the fact that you want to focus in life, you want to find purpose in life is actually amazing. But what I would say is explore. You'll feel it, you'll know. I can't explain the feeling, but somewhere down the lane, you'll know this is for me. You'll just feel it. You'll enjoy it. Enjoy whatever you're doing. So until you have that feeling, I would say just try everything that comes in your way. Everything. From building houses to writing codes to building pots to drawing, anything that comes your way. Keep trying it out. Keep trying everything that comes your way. Some point or the other, you'll find something that you really like. And I think that's how you find your passion.
And I think it's a never-ending process. Even if you meet a 50-year-old or a 40-year-old, they'll still be like, I'm still finding my thing or what I'm good at, what I enjoy. So I think, it's a very nice thing to, kind of find things to work on so early. But yes, definitely everybody hits that sweet spot where they want to be and they enjoy it. They can spend hours doing that thing. I think it's a process everybody goes through.
Yeah,
there's no ending line.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyone wants to share any thoughts? These two people have been patiently answering all our queries, and from their really the kind of inspiration and the kind of apt experiences what you have been sharing, it is inspiring, Kavin and Radhika.
I definitely want to
Yes, Preeti, go ahead.
Kavin and Radhika, kudos to you guys. You are just 16, 17, 18, that age group. Means if I go back into my 16 or 18 years of age, I was a complete loser maybe. And today, the kind of, like, I can't, I am not getting the exact words, means the way you both are talking, the way you have, means I'm honestly very happy that we are going this path of open learning, and we are exploring and with our child, with our daughter, and the way you guys are putting up yourself, it's simply amazing. Because even today, if we go to any school, not degrading or disgracing anybody, but just thinking aloud that if we really meet a 16-year-old today, going to school and talk like this, then do they really do that way? I don't know. Means it's superb. It's superb the way you both were and the way that you both are. Simply amazing. I'm so happy, so happy to be part of this whole community, to be part of this whole process, to be part of this whole new way of life. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you.
Just
Thank
one
you so
thing,
much.
Preeti. You talk about how me and Radhika speak and all that. Just to clarify, don't ever expect your child to become like us, because each and every child is unique and
There is
This is like a
each and
punchline.
every child is unique and they have their own likes and dislikes and their own ways of speaking. So this speaking, it doesn't really matter. As long as the child is happy, as long as the child is doing what he or she loves, I think he's grown more than half the 50-year-olds I've met. I think everyone
Amazing.
wants to be happy. And if your child is happy and doing what he loves,
Right.
what more do you want in life?
I'll clap for this comment.
Yeah, it's a punchline
Strong,
actually.
Yeah,
strong believer of every individual being unique. I'm a strong,
yeah.
super believer of that.
That's deep. That's really deep, Kavin. Because we feel that if our child who goes through the homeschooling, if he turns out to be confident like you guys, then that's a success. I would say that is not. The child becomes his own unique self. That's success and happy. So again, there should not be any templatizing of success.
Exactly. Success is different for different people. And I think as a parent, I would just advise you to learn with your child. Learn to connect with them and try to help them find their own success. Because that's what gives you the achievement in the end, the feeling of achievement, the feeling of success.
I think
Because my parents used to do it in the first two, at least I felt like they used to do it. They want, you do homeschooling and then you meet these different people, and they're like, if you do homeschooling, your child's brain will grow by this much percentage. You start thinking like this. No, that's not gonna happen. I'll be honest, that's not gonna happen. Your child will be happy. At least I was happy during homeschooling. Child might be happy. I'll correct myself.
Exactly.
Sometimes the child doesn't want to homeschool. Okay,
Right.
you should be able to accept that, because different people have different likes and dislikes and they change over time too. Right now maybe he's not liking school, but tomorrow he might like school.
I think
So
freedom
just
to
keep the
choose the way
opportunities.
of learning. I'm
Yes,
sorry, am
sorry.
I cutting you?
No, go continue.
I think that's correct. I mean, giving the freedom for the child to choose the way they want to learn, be it homeschooling. So it's not homeschooling that every child likes. Be it my brother who chose to go to school in the eighth standard because his thought process was different towards life, towards work, towards learning. And my parents were very open to send him to school. And on the other hand, I wanted to homeschool. I wanted to self-directed my learning. So there are different paths, it's just up to the child. So it'd be really great if we are leaving both or maybe many more opportunities and paths of learning open to children.
Okay, Neela, I know you're short on time and you can just cut me off whenever you want. But I don't want to lose out this opportunity. I want to have the contact details of these two adults, I would say. But so I think one of the notion of, I think Radhika, you mentioned that homeschooling is really about the ability to choose how you want to learn. And it does not mean that the kid has to be a homeschooler. He might want to go back to school and then come back, like totally his or her freedom. Now, some of the parents I know, who kind of live by the traditional schooling, completely vouch for that. They feel that the child is too young to know what he or she wants. Is there, first of all, is there any truth given your experience, and is there any age, like by after when you were, let's say, age 10, then you had your own opinion and your own
I think
thought
that
process?
I would like to stop at this.
Yes, I got my question across. Yeah, thank you, Leela.
So So
You want
we
to go
will
first,
call
Radhika?
Radhika and Kavin for a parenting workshop. It is best to learn from children of parenting. That is what I got it.
Okay, Kavin and Radhika, are you on Discord?
Yeah, I'm on Discord.
Okay,
I'm not on
great
social
then.
media
I'll DM
except
you.
WhatsApp.
All right, you can.
But do kind of let me know the answers, to this question. Maybe if not under
Okay,
Leela's
no,
authority.
Okay. Yes. We don't have. Okay.
It was nice meeting you guys, especially Radhika after a long time. I remember.
Yes, I know. I remember.
well.
When I saw you, I was like, oh my God, Sriya.
Yeah, it was
One
nice.
second, see, I think Radhika has to answer Atul's question.
Okay, I should answer.
Leela, should she?
Are you allowing me to answer, Leela? Can I please go ahead? Please give me the authority to
Maybe we can do a democracy. Let's take a vote of who all wants to listen to the answer.
I didn't want to overburden you guys extending the time. That's it.
I think we can do this last question.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was, are we too, is a child too young to learn, or, when is the right age to actually make a decision, right?
Yeah, is a child when is a child too young to know what he or she wants?
Okay, so I think it's a very vast question. Every child has their own ability. But I can't say I'm mature now. I can say this child is mature now. But I think it's just the freedom we should give. And it's something we can reverse back also. If a 7-year-old is saying, mom or dad, I want to go to school, or a 16-year-old is saying, mom, no, I want to homeschool, I think we should respect that. Unless the child is serious, I think that's okay. It's not that learning is definitely fun, but the decision making should be very honest, very truthful from the child. And I think it's correct if the child is being very honest, very truthful, and genuinely saying that, this is what I want. I don't want to go to school, or I want to go to school. So I think there is no age to answering these questions or being too young. I was 12 when I took the decision, but I'm sure there must be a 7-year-old who can take that decision also.
And there is an example here. Avani herself is an example.
Yes, exactly. She's a 10-year-old and she's saying, I want to focus on one thing. So it's different. It's a very customizable question.
Yeah.
In my experience on all the homeschooling families that I've met, it's not of the age of the child that matters. It's always the parents who are not ready, or either they're ready or not ready. So sometimes your child is way too young and you don't know what to teach them. Sometimes your child is just old enough and they can do on your own, or sometimes the parent doesn't, both parents are working, so they don't have time to spend with their child. It's different stuff like that. But if you start homeschooling, it's not like once I start homeschooling, he's not going to go back to school again.
Yes.
They want to get to go back to school, like Radhika said. So I don't think it's the age of the child that matters. It's about whether the parents are ready, and also whether you're ready to face the society, really. For me, it was my grandparents, really. They're like, what are you doing to the child's future and all that. My parents they had tough times explaining, because they're from that time where you go to school, get a degree, get a job, get married, get children, get retired, and go to sleep. So when you talk to people with that kind of mentality and they're already 60, 70 years old, they have a rigid mentality, and you're trying to convince them that no, I'm going to get him homeschooled. I think it's mostly on the parents' side. So because if I wanted to go back to school, I could go back to school anytime I wanted. So I don't think the child's age matters as much.
It's the parents' trust to explore with the child and allow the child.
Confidence.
Yes.
And I have a really interesting story to tell about how my brother got into school, but we don't have enough time, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you, both of you, and it's a heartful thanks. And also from the community, we all wish you the good luck for your future, and keep on doing what you love to do and explore your journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful sharing.
Thank you. I had a
Thank you. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you very much, all of you, actually, because I've had a really great time going back on the things I've done till now. I'm actually starting to feel proud of myself.
Thank you, guys. It adds to a lot of our confidence to move forward with open learning. I wish we could have more such discussions and more time, but Leela is authoritative, so we cannot do it.
Yeah, we can keep inviting them in many more talks. We will have a lot more opportunities.
I would love to have them in parenting club.
Yes, definitely. Kavin needs to take parenting workshop.
I love to meet new people, so anywhere you call me, I'll come.
Yeah.
Yeah, one cup of chai, I'll come to Mars itself.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you again, once again. Say bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Also, Radhika, I would
Yes.
like to connect with you sometime.
Yes,
Do
yes.
you have any kind of email or phone number?
Yes. Shall I ping DM my email?
Do one thing. I'm more active on WhatsApp. Do you have WhatsApp?
I don't have a phone. I use my mother's.
Okay. Just take my mail ID then.
All right.
Kavin and
You
Radhika,
can also take the number. I'm active on WhatsApp. So you can, okay, just give me your email ID first.
If you are okay, if you can share me your contact or email ID or whatever, then I can share it to the community. If anyone wants to connect with you, they
Yeah,
can.
shall I put it in the chat box?
Yeah, either way, it's fine.